Okay, in order to access the glycol drain for flushing your glycol system, you have to remove the rear panel. Thank you, Jason. And then you're going to look for this plug right here. Right here. So you need to get some hose clamp pliers or just some regular pliers. You're going to pry that together, pull the plug out, and drain as much of the fluid as we can before we start our flushing procedure. Okay, I got a bucket underneath here. I'm going to put my pliers on this and remove this plug and hopefully not wear it all. There we go. There should be, actually a good color, should be about a little over 3 gallons come out, or right around 3 gallons come out. So I got a 5-gallon bucket here. And once it slows down, I'm just going to let her go. Okay, I'm at little over a gallon and a half right now, and I've slowed down to a slow trickle, and so I'm just going to let that go until it's done draining. That'll make it easier to flush. Okay, so I made a couple hoses to make this flushing process easier, and you can see I got just it's actually 5/8 inch thin wall vinyl clear hose. I've got 2 nylon barb slices, 3/4 inch. Now it's 5/8 inch hose, but 3/4 inch barbs. It takes a little bit of squeezing to get it on there, but it fits well. It's flexible, and it's about half the price of 3/4 inch hose, which is a heavier wall. I put a hose fitting on the one end, so this will be the intake hose, and the outlet hose just has a barb, and then the other end will go into my bucket outside the door when I'm flushing the system. You can use hose clamps. I just used zip ties to tighten this on there, because I'm just going to use a low pressure, probably less than 20 psi as I'm flushing this. Alright, so I'm just going to crack it. It's feeding through, and again, you can see I have fluid come out into my hose, out the outlet, so we are hooked up correctly. And I'm going to flush it until I get pretty clear fluid, plain water coming through. Okay, so you can see I got pretty pale fluid coming through. Now I'm going to stop now because I'm not going to drain the water back out of it. I'm going to fill with my glycol solution and hopefully get most of this. It won't be too diluted is my point. So you can see I got a 5-gallon bucket full of glycol and water solution, and now I'm going to unhook it and put everything back together. Okay, the next step for me, rather than get underneath and drain the diluted water and old glycol mixture out, I just took a simple air fitting, hooked it to air. It's got a rubber tip so it fits nicely into here. Hook it into here and continue to go until there's no or very little liquid coming out of my outlet pipe. Now, this is going to create a little bit of a mess. No matter how you do it, you're going to lose some of the glycol solution around the outside, either on the bucket or in the outlet hose or anything like that. Very important that you wash everything down. Even though this is non-toxic, it does say to keep it away from kids and animals. So once you get done, dilute it as much as possible so that it's just, just extra precaution to keep it from getting in any of the wildlife or anything like that. So just take care and dilute it down. It should be fine. Just dilute it down pretty good with your garden hose and everything should be good. Okay, as you can see, I've hooked everything back up, put a funnel in so I don't spill it. I've already spilled it once, but and now I'm filling it up. I've got about almost a gallon in it, and it burped a couple times, so I'm going to finish pouring this gallon in, and then I'm going to turn on my pump. If I can get this gallon in the expansion tank, I will. If not, we'll turn on the pump and then get it in there. Oh, look at that. So we're able to get all that in there. So now I'm gonna go over here to my control panel, and it's on what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to Menu, Setup, and this little circle with 2 arrows, that's the continuous pump run. I'm going to turn that on, continuous, okay. And then I'm going to go back here and I'm going to change my pump speed to 5 and hit OK. And what that does is it runs the pump and helps circulate the fluid through. And you can see it's gurgling right now, so it's going to continue pumping through and hopefully get the air out of it for us. There is an automatic air bleeder on our system, but it does, you know, I think it's very small opening, so this helps. According to Marvin, when we were at the rally, this is the way that they do it. So we're gonna try it. So I'm gonna let it run here for a little bit, and then I'll put some more fluid in it. Okay, as you can see, I put a little over 2 gallons in it. 2 gallons would have brought me right to the maximum point. My pump's been running for about 20 minutes with no change in the level. I'm anticipating some air bubbles in this thing, so I'm going to leave it where it's at. I do have the extra 2 gallons with me in the camper, so if I need it, I can add to it. Last thing, obviously clean everything up. You don't want the glycol smell in your closet. Clean it up pretty good. I use Simple Green, some Simple Green solution, 50-50 mix, and just some rags. And I cleaned everything up. You can see it's nice and clean and shiny. And then I just put some marks on my tank so I could see the min and max things in the dark a little bit better, because they're not marked very well in terms of being able to see in the back of the closet. That's it for this. The last thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go out here to my control panel, and I am going to go to Menu, Setup. I'm going to take my pump speed back down to 1, which is where it was when I started. And then I'm going to turn my continuous pump back to therm. Oh, and I burped a little bit more. So, back over here. And you can see, dropped it down a little bit. So that's what I'm going to anticipate over the next few times I run it. So that completes the flush of the Alde Glycol system. I hope it helps. Good luck.